back on Moguls with one of the legendary skiers, star of Blizzard of Aahhhs, Mike Hattrup's with us. So before we get into Chamonix, let's kind of go back and talk about your first meetings with one Glen Plake. Do you remember the first time you met him?
Actually, it was at Nationals, and Glen and we had three in our roommate, three of the Goon Squad, and there was rooms of four, and there was, and so I said, let's get Plake to come with us. So Plake had come over. I think he got a brand new sponsorship with Yamaha, so he had Yamaha skis and Yamaha poles.
Yeah.
I think he'd cut the poles up to make various size pipes at that point. But I think he was pissed at Vocal for some reason, so he tied a pair of Vocals to his bumper and drug them from California to Colorado. And he goes, they were about this big by the time we got there.
Kind of like the wedding bottle of cans or something behind the car. Oh, that's fantastic.
And that was all pre-Mohawk. The first time I saw the Mohawk was at Ski Acres in Seattle for a Mogul contest. It was a NORAM contest, and Glen came up, and he had the Mohawk, but it was all laying down. And I go, we got to fire that thing up. I want to see it tall. And I go, what do you do? What do you put in? And he goes, wood glue. He goes, wood, because it's water glue. It's waterproof. And I go, come on. He goes, yeah. I go, perfect, come with me. So we went to a ski shop. I said, hey, do you guys have some wood glue I can borrow?
Like Elmer's, are we talking?
Yeah, yep. I said, do you have some wood glue we can borrow? And they go, no. And I go, I'm going to put it in his hair. And the guy goes,
I got some now.
So yeah, we went into the bathroom and lathered it up and put it under one of the, the hand dryers, and
boom, there it is.
That was the first one.
And I think, you're somewhat responsible for introducing Glen Plake to Greg Stump. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, not long after that contest, actually, Glen sent me a Stubbies catalog, and Stubbies is a California surfwear company, and Glen was in this catalog with this little baby Mohawk skateboarding in this drainage pipe. And he wrote a handwritten. I actually still have the letter somewhere with the catalog. It's hey Hattrup, pass it. Great skiing with you up in the rain. Pass this on to Stump and Company. I gotta get on film, underlined, and I introduced him to Stump, and he took it from there.
All right. So you're over in Chamonix. Let's fast forward a little bit for the filming of Blizzard, and you're with Scott Schmidt, which. And Glen Plake, who are probably polar opposites personality-wise, but still under the umbrella of great skiers.
Yeah.
What memories do you have of that time of being in Chamonix with those two?
We were there for a week of just pounding snow, and so you couldn't go ski anything big, and finally when it opened up and you saw it for the first time, it's just so dramatic and so fierce, and the mountains there are much meaner than they are here, and it's a super intimidating place. I've been there, I don't know, dozens of times, and every time I go there, it's still intimidating.
Yeah.
But I think especially then we were all so green. Schmidt had a little bit of backcountry experience, but Plake and I were green as could be. Never held an ice axe in our lives, never had crampons on, never had a harness on.
Wow.
Never used a transceiver. So it was a big learning experience for all of us. It was fun, it was exciting, and we got to go ski some huge stuff that we never even would have seen before.
Obviously a lot of stuff's going on outside of the filming and what ended up in the film while you guys are in Chamonix, or was it just kind of hunker down and plan for the next day?
No, there was a lot of late nights there.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things I remember from Chamonix back then was snowball fights. Fighting like 3 or 4 guys who are all like, and you just wind up. And felt like Nolan Ryan, I remember hitting a cop in the chest with a snowball, and then just so.
We
had fun nights there.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk with Mike Hattrup more about Blizzard of Aahhhs, also what he's been up to. The man's had a huge part in the evolution of telemarketing. So we'll get into that. Mike Hattrup right here. At least Americans had, were ski racers.
Yeah, well, and I didn't then, nor do I now think of myself as